Once upon a time, there lived a wise Zen master in a quiet monastery. People from far and wide came to seek his guidance, for his wisdom was renowned. He spoke little, but when he did, his words carried the power to transform lives. One day, a troubled young man visited the Zen master. His face was marked with despair, and his eyes reflected the turmoil within him. Bowing before the Zen master, he said, "Master, I am constantly unhappy. No matter what I do, sorrow surrounds me like an endless night. I feel lost and I do not know how to live my life. Please guide me, Master." The Zen master looked at the young man with a calm smile and said, "I will certainly help you. But before that, can you do something for me? Go and bring me a glass of water with a handful of salt dissolved in it." The young man was taken aback. He had come to seek wisdom, yet the Zen master was assigning him a task unrelated to his troubles. "Master, I came to you with a deep question about my suffering, and instead of answering me, you are asking me to do something else," he said. "Please first answer my question. Then I will gladly do whatever you ask." The Zen master remained composed and replied, "No, first you must do as I say. Bring the water with salt." Though confused, the young man complied. He fetched a glass of water, added a handful of salt to it, and brought it back to the Zen master. The Zen master said, "Now drink this water." The young man hesitated and said, "Master, is this for me to drink? I do not need water right now." The Zen master smiled and said, "Just trust me, take a sip." Reluctantly, the young man took a small sip but immediately spat it out. "Master, this water is extremely salty. It is undrinkable." The Zen master nodded knowingly and said, "I see. Now do one more thing. Take another handful of salt, follow me, and come along." Though puzzled, the young man obeyed. The Zen master led the young man on a long walk. They passed through fields and villages, crossed narrow paths, and climbed small hills. Hours passed, and the young man grew tired. Internally, he began questioning the Zen master's sanity. What is the point of all this? I asked for wisdom, and he has turned this into some pointless journey. However, he said nothing and continued following the Zen master. Finally, they reached a serene lake. The Zen master stopped and turned to the young man and said, "Now take the salt in your hand and throw it into the lake." The young man sighed in frustration. "So, this is why we came all the way here? Just to throw salt into the water? What a waste of time." But he did not dare argue with the Zen master. He threw the salt into the lake as instructed. The master then said, "Now take some water from the lake and drink it." The young man hesitated, but he did as told. He bent down, cupped his hands, and drank the cool, clear water. The master asked, "How does it taste?" The young man was surprised. "It is fresh and sweet, master." The master smiled and gently held the young man's hand. "My child, the amount of salt you added to the lake was the same as what you put in the glass. Yet, the taste of the lake's water remained unaffected. but in the glass, the same amount of salt made it undrinkable. Do you understand what this means? The young man's mind began to clear as realization dawned upon him. The master continued, "The sorrows in your life are like this salt. Their quantity remains the same, but the effect they have on you depends on how vast your heart and mind are. If your heart is small, like this glass, even a little suffering will make your life bitter and unbearable. But if you expand your heart like this vast lake, the same sorrow will become insignificant." The young man was standing quietly and thinking. The master's voice was soft and firm. "Stop being a glass, become a lake. When you make yourself larger, when you expand your perspective, your patience, and your ability to understand, then no sorrow, no hardship will have the power to overwhelm you. The same sorrow that once seemed unbearable will dissolve into the vastness of your wisdom." The young man felt ashamed of his earlier thoughts. He had doubted the master, thinking he was wasting his time. But now he realized that this journey was the very lesson he needed. With a humble heart, he knelt before the Zen master and touched his feet and said, "Master, I was foolish. I misunderstood your wisdom. All my life I have lived like a glass, so small that even the slightest difficulty felt unbearable. But now I understand. I must become like a lake, which remains peaceful and sweet even when facing the same difficulties." The master nodded approvingly and said, "Remember, child, true wisdom is not about removing sorrow from life, but about growing large enough that sorrow loses its power over you." With a heart full of gratitude, the young man returned home carrying a newfound perspective that would forever change the way he faced life's challenges. This story teaches that our sufferings do not define us, our capacity to embrace them does. Life's difficulties will never disappear, but if we cultivate inner strength, patience, and understanding, these hardships will no longer seem insurmountable. A person with a small heart is easily overwhelmed by pain, while someone with a vast heart, like a lake, remains unaffected, spreading kindness and wisdom to others. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, hit like button. And for more such stories, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and stay positive.